Hi, I'm Sterling Downey. You're watching CUTV Arts and Culture. Stay tuned. Later on in the show, you'll see a live performance by a local band.
Hi there.
My name's Sterling.
And what do you do here?
Stand around, eat lettuce, and watch people.
Explain the process of putting this together.
How much tape do you have?
Hi, I'm Marie-Jude Salomon, and I'm here with Sterling Downey here. So, Sterling, could you tell us a little about where we are right now?
Actually, right now, where we're filming is at a location under Highway 20, the Ville-Marie Autoroute, which is called the TA Wall. It's a location that has been frequented over the last 20 years by graffiti writers in the city and outside the city who travel in to paint. It used to be what was considered a wall of fame, where some of the most predominant and relevant graffiti writers used to get up and used to practice their art. And over the years, it's obviously snowballed into a lot more people being here. It's a highly trafficked area. A lot of people come and walk their dogs in the area to look at things. A lot of photographers come to document graffiti. Some people come to meet people while they're painting in the day. So it's a really interesting location. It's the name, the TA Wall, is named after my crew. One of my graffiti crews from the early 90s is called Team Autobot, TA. And I was one of the first people to paint on this wall at the time in 1994-95. So it has carried that name for well over 15 years, which is really interesting. But it's a great place. It's a safe place and an out-of-the-way place for graffiti writers to actually practice or to just, have a day where they can hang out all together and just paint with no one bothering them.
So exactly what is, because you are from Under Pressure, so how about you explain to us what exactly is Under Pressure, what it's all about?
Well, Under Pressure is an international graffiti convention. It's an annual international graffiti convention that happens in Montreal. It's been going on, it's in its 16th year this year. We founded it back in 1996. Myself, Flo, and a couple of other people started it. The idea was to create an outlet for people to express themselves creatively, graffiti writers first and foremost, b-boys and b-girls for dancing, DJs and MCs. It was a lot of the hip-hop community was involved back in those days. Today it's grown into a larger festival that incorporates also skateboarding, other sports, different forms of music, electro, drum and bass, jungle. Basically, everybody and anything that makes up culture in the city that's part of music or art is somewhat involved in Under Pressure in some way or another. So it's one big giant community outlet for people to basically, voice their art and show their skills.
That is so interesting. So is it like only by Montreal artists, or do you have like other people coming in like from different cities or?
Well, as an international convention, it started off just local because in its first couple of years we obviously didn't have the same reach, but it's garnered an enormous amount of notoriety over the last 16 years. So we've had people since 1999 that have been traveling in from all over the world: France, Switzerland, Sweden, Poland, Germany, Australia. People traveling from all over the place. What's really important is the reason that they can do that is because the festival is held at the same time every year, so people know when to expect it now. So without really us announcing anything, they can plan to travel in, so it makes it accessible to people from around the world. What's even more interesting now is that we receive a lot of emails, and we have over the last number of years, from parents who are traveling with their kids to Montreal, and their kids are graffiti enthusiasts or interested in hip-hop culture, breakdancing, or this and that. And since they're coming to Montreal for their vacations, their family vacations, they want to center their travel around activities or festivals that appeal to their whole family. So Under Pressure has become, it's really interesting, from what was an art form and a form of expression that was oppressed and repressed, it has become something that now is sought out by families when they travel on vacation, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, like as a way of bonding with their children and seeing what their interests are and all.
Exactly. It's a great way for people to communicate. And I mean, a lot of these parents, what's really funny is, let's not forget that when an event's been going on for 16 years, people who were 20 years old are now 36, so they have their own children. People who were 26 or 25 are 41, so they have families. So they were actually event goers or festival goers back in the days themselves, but now have their families have moved, but come back to Montreal for this festival, or come back out that weekend to downtown Montreal to basically hang out and reconnect with all their old friends and see each other. It's kind of like a big community get together.
All right, so you guys stay tuned. We're gonna go see a live performance of Hebrew poetry set to the jazz stylings of New York group The Later Prophets.
Hi once again, this is CUTV's Thomas O'Connor. I'm coming to you tonight from Ghetto Shul, a small student synagogue just off Sherbrooke Street. Tonight we're going to be looking at some jazz set to traditional Hebrew poetry. This place also hosts concerts all through the year and a little bit of stand-up comedy as well. Should be a pretty fun evening.
וכוכבים כאור שמשנו על פני רקיע אבן ספיר שם.
Hi, my name is Leibish Hundert. I am a rabbi, and the place got started about 10 years ago, but we only just moved to this particular space 2 years ago. We're very excited with this space. Let me just explain. Ghetto Shul is a name. Shul means like synagogue, kind of in a colloquial sense of a hangout spiritual spot. And basically speaking, since we got this place, we've opened up a little cafe. We've started up music performances of various types. Basically, kind of the vision is to unite spirituality and culture.
Hi, I'm Greg Wall, and I was performing here tonight at the Ghetto Shul with the Later Prophets, celebrating the mystical poetry of Rav Kook with our good friend Rabbi Yitzhak Marmerstein.
So tell us a little about your background and what led you here.
Well, my background is a traditional music background. I was conservatory educated and moved to New York in the early 80s to seek my fortune as a jazz musician, and found traditional Judaism after a little while, and I've spent the past 15 or 20 years trying to merge both my interests in serious music and serious Judaism, and this project, Later Prophets, has been the great outlet to do that. I'm able to explore a lot of things that interest me and express them musically.
Human being, observe the light of the divine presence that pervades all existence. Observe the harmony of the heavenly realm, how it pervades every aspect of life, the spiritual and the material which are before our eyes of flesh and our eyes of spirit. Contemplate the wonders of creation, the divine dimension of their being, not as a dim configuration from afar, but as the reality in which you live. Know yourself and your world. Know the meditations of your heart and of every thinker. Find the source of your own being and of life beyond you, around you, the glorious splendor of the life in which you have your being. The love that is astir in you, raise it to its basic potency and its noblest beauty. Extend it to all the dimensions, all its dimensions towards every manifestation of the soul that sustains the universe. Look at the lights in their inwardness. Let not the names, the words, the idioms, and the letters confine your soul. They are under your control. You are not under theirs. Ascend toward the heights. Ascend. Allez, lemala, allez. Because you are of mighty prowess. You have wings to soar with, wings of mighty eagles. Do not fail them, or else they will fail you. Seek for them, and they're immediately ready for you. We are summoned to share in this heavenly delight in all the particularized perceptions which are included in this universal whole from which all life has emerged and continues to unfold. Me'olam rachok. So my name is Rabbi Yitzchak Marmerstein, and in the early 1980s, I started reading this book, the writings of Rabbi Avram Yitzchak Kohen Cook, and I was so impressed and touched by the illumination and the understanding that this sage had, that I've continued to study and read his teachings. And as I discovered his poetry and searched for the music of his poetry, I found it quite illuminating, and it's been a great pleasure to share it.
Well, it was an amazing evening. There were some unbelievable performances going on, and I know one thing. I learned a thing or two about jazz. I'm Thomas O'Connor for CUTV Arts and Culture.
And we're back. So tell us, Sterling, why is it so important to support, for the Montreal community to support Under Pressure?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the question is, for me, I guess, is it really important for the community to support Under Pressure, or is it really important that the community recognizes that Under Pressure is there as an entity to support them? In any community, everyone has a role and a responsibility. We've assumed a responsibility to create a venue, like we said earlier, for artists to express themselves, whether it be through music or through visual arts. In order to sustain an entity like that, it takes community involvement. So it takes volunteers, it takes teams of people, dedication. It also takes a lot of fundraising initiatives, it takes contributions, because let's not forget that the event is a free outdoor event. So it's not like a festival where you're going and you're paying $35 to go see something. You're getting this event for free. So to make a $5 contribution online, or to make a $10 contribution, or to do whatever, all those contributions and all those fundraising initiatives that we do throughout the year, or different activities, and you coming and supporting them, help us raise money to be able to present the festival and to create more initiatives to allow more artists to be a part of it. So, I mean, you know, right now we started off with a one-day festival, then we were able to do a two-day festival. Eventually, if we get to a point where we can self-sustain and the community supports and helps fund and finance the event, then we can do a three-day event, which means more people get exposure. And the important thing is to understand the power of community. You have, for example, a Facebook page that has 2,000 friends. If all 2,000 of those friends donate $5, you've raised $10,000. $10,000 is a great little foundation to start a festival on. You know, so think about what role you play in the community and how you can contribute to things continuing. And you know, the day I would tell people, don't support the day that somebody looks like they got greedy and they start charging or they start doing things. But Under Pressure is synonymous with giving back to the community, and it always has. And I think that we've led the way as community players to show that our intentions are honorable and in the right place. And this started off as a joke. It didn't start off as something that we thought was going to go on for 16 years. We thought it was going to be a one-time thing.